Deep within the monstrosity that is Caesar's Palace is Nobu, a luxurious hotel within a hotel that feels separate from the broader resort with its own dedicated hotel lobby and elevators, in addition to free coffee and cocktails daily. More on that in a second. Nobu certainly has an upscale exclusive vibe, and the room offered a few extras that I've never seen elsewhere. That said, while my stay was fantastic, I'm not sure I'd pay much of a premium to stay in the Nobu Tower again. After watching the video, I'm curious what your thoughts are. Drop them below in the comments. I originally booked a Colosseum Deluxe room for $172.28, all in after taxes and fees. And I was jacked to stay in this specific room type as they were all touched as part of a 2023 renovation project, and I had yet to experience one. Before checking in, I set aside some time to grab video clips and photos of the lobby that I've already photographed countless times over the years. I hit the self-check-in kiosk, which I estimate my lifetime success rate at to be about 50%, and wasn't surprised to see the dreaded "See an ambassador" message. Typical. But after a few minutes of typing and clicking, she informed me that I received a free upgrade to their Nobu Tower and would need to proceed to their dedicated check-in desk. Exciting, as I've never stayed at Nobu, which are commonly among the most expensive standard rooms at Caesar's Palace, starting at around $175 a night after fees, but things can escalate pretty significantly from there. I got a little bit turned around on my way and stumbled across the Colosseum Tower elevator lobby, which is what I had originally booked, and my God, they did a nice job with it. I can't wait to make it back, definitely feeling a little bit of FOMO at this point. Anyway, I got to where I needed to be and had to snag an elevator up to Nobu's hotel registration desk, and the elevator lobby is a pretty damn cool introduction to the hotel. I was impressed. At the registration desk, I was informed of two unique offerings available only to Nobu guests. The first is free coffee and tea every morning from 7 to 10 a.m. right next door to the front desk, which I have used early and often. The second is a daily Tanoshi Hour where guests are served complimentary cocktails from 5 to 6 p.m. I wasn't able to make it to the cocktail hour, but both are differentiated offerings that make you feel like a somebody. Nobu's elevators were technologically advanced. You scan your room key, select your floor from the touchpad, and then you're told which elevator would be picking you up on the screen. There's nothing to press inside the elevator, which had the same wood block decor strategy as the casino level lobby. Stepping off onto my floor, the first impression had me pretty excited, but the hotel hallway leading to my room felt unremarkable. Nothing wrong with it, I just expected a little bit more wow factor considering this was Nobu. The first thing I noticed stepping into the room is how small it is. At 350 square feet, this is the smallest room type at Caesar's Palace, and that's the same size as base rooms at Lincoln Flamingo, although this is obviously of higher quality. Even with the lack of space, this room offered a ton of storage with drawers under the TV and two separate closets, which were stocked with the unique amenities like slippers, a yoga mat, and a clothing steamer. There was even a tea kettle in a drawer. Atop the dresser under the TV were some of the more unique minibar items I've seen, in addition to a Keurig coffee maker, but no complimentary pods were offered. There was also a refrigerated minibar below that offered no room for personal items, which is a bummer. They even threatened a $75 charge for attempting to store personal items, which seemed aggressive. I loved the light fixtures in the room, especially the cylindrical ones on either side of the couch, which was plump and had a pretty disheveled, chaotic look to it. A fan of light reading, I appreciated the Nobu magazine left for me to peruse on the coffee table, and the carpet was also in great condition. I thought it had an agreeable pattern that worked well with the rest of the room's decor. The work desk was pretty run-of-the-mill, but had a rectangular leather pad built into it, which I don't believe I've seen in Vegas before, and the king bed was easily one of the most comfortable I've had in town. Just spectacular, although I thought the absence of a bedside clock radio was a little weird. Bedside charging options were on point though. The aesthetic of the bedroom area overall was solid. The artwork, furnishings, striped accent wall, and how it was all laid out made this a comfortable space that had a quality feel to it. A solid room, but far from being a jaw dropper in my opinion. My room had a partial strip view and the innards of Caesar's Palace itself made up most of what I could see. Let's make our way into the bathroom. The first thing that drew my eye was the deep sink, big enough to be a suitable bathtub for babies and small toddlers, but the vanity was positioned directly next to the shower door, which made for a pretty cramped exit. There was a powder station that had a facial tissue holder that matched the rest of the bathroom. A luxurious touch that I've only noticed to date at elite resorts like Encore and the Best Western at Casino Royale. While it had desirable features, I couldn't really shake how plain and vanilla the bathroom was for one of the most expensive, desirable, luxurious standard rooms at Caesar's Palace. Maybe it's too much empty wall space. The toilet looks so sad over there in the corner with no artwork or color. I just felt like there was something missing. Couldn't put my finger on it. Just didn't seem as luxurious as I had built Nobu up to be in my mind. So what's not to like? When I review hotels, I don't just tell you the good, I give you the whole story so that you can hopefully make a more informed decision. These rooms were last renovated in 2021 and a few flaws are starting to emerge that included a busted up phone outlet, peeling wallpaper, disintegrating caulk around the toilet, a TV input panel that's missing its inputs, peeling paint visible from my window, and a few surfaces that had water damage. Not a big deal, but I also feel like hard water stains on the shower head should be dialed in an upscale room. The biggest drawback, however, is how small it is for the price. Nobu has its perks. This is a solid, comfortable room, but I'd be hard-pressed to say I'd book it again over other room types at Caesar's Palace that offer more space, sometimes nearly double the square footage without a massive drop-off in quality. Lastly, this do not disturb tassel ended up on the floor every time I opened the door, which got a little annoying. While I've said in the past that the hotel product at Caesar's Palace is trying to be upmarket while falling short in some respects, the rest of the resort does a better job of living up to that label. Now there are plenty of photo opportunities scattered around the resort, but nothing gets guests to pull out their cell phone cameras faster than their new entryway, which was completed in 2022 and boasts a 15-foot tall statue of Augustus Caesar and a chandelier with 70,000 crystals. This is one of the best introductions to a property that exists in all of Las Vegas. Another upscale feeling portion of the resort is the Garden of the Gods pool complex, which is wedged between hotel towers and exudes the Roman theme that Caesar's Palace is known for. The complex has 7 different pools, 5 swim-up blackjack tables, 48 cabanas, 65 day beds, and according to the website, infinite outdoor fun, which is corny as hell, but I'll allow it. I love this pool scene, it's relaxing, and you will too. Connected to Caesar's Palace are the Forum Shops, which are home to over 160 shopping outlets and restaurants, and while I don't really care about the shops that have 15 handbags on display, the additional dining options found within the mall are an asset for folks that appreciate options. Tucked in the back reaches of the shops is a 50,000-gallon saltwater aquarium in the free Atlantis show, which I wouldn't describe as a must-see, but it's a cute novelty if you're in the area, featuring 400 moving parts, water, fire, and a cheesy storyline. Of course, the real reason to visit the Forum Shops are the visuals and photo opportunities. Like other parts of the property, I have photographed and taken video clips of these areas countless times, but for some reason, I just keep whipping out the camera every time I visit. In addition to the 9 or so restaurants found in the Forum Shops, Caesar's Palace has 20+ restaurants within the resort that range from the celebrity food hall that has options like pizza, tacos, chicken, Korean grub, burgers, and a Starbucks, to upscale options like Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen, Nobu, Stanton's Social Prime, Amalfi, and Brasserie B, among others. The biggest draw though is their Bacchanal Buffet, regarded by most, and myself, as the best in Vegas. This is a $100 plus buffet after tax and tip, but it's a worthy splurge once in a while due to the diversity and quality of food items. While I didn't have a chance to hit it on this trip, here are a few highlights from a previous visit. Because I was busy eating 21 cheap meals on the Strip to create the video linked in the description below, I only had room for one meal at Caesar's Palace and hit Chicken Guy in the Celebrity Food Hall. The design of the restaurant was fun, and the little photo op of Guy holding a chicken he was about to turn into a sandwich was cute, but I was a bit taken aback by my chicken sandwich and fries coming to a grand total of $23.98 before tax. My biggest knock against the dining scene at Caesar's Palace is the absence of budget options. Before transitioning to a celebrity food hall, the Forum food court had hearty filling options that weren't outrageously priced, but obviously that's in the past. Fortunately, there are a good number of inexpensive options at surrounding resorts that are steps away. Make sure you check out that Cheap Eats video for inspiration. A weird side note, I stumbled across a fun novelty at Dominique Ansel's Bakery, which was a robotic milk shot machine that served shots of milk in a chocolate chip cookie cup for $8.99. It was doing brisk business. Aside from restaurants, Caesar's Palace also has a collection of lounges that are built to impress that include the Vanderpump Cocktail Lounge, which really isn't my scene, but it is admittedly gorgeous, and Stadia, a sports bar modeled to look like old school football helmets, among others. The sprawling casino at Caesar's Palace is one that I still manage to get turned around in. Some of my best memories involve standing in the back of this sportsbook and hearing the crowd roar during the opening weekend of March Madness, hanging on every shot. For my money, few activities are better than posting up at the sportsbook bar, sipping complimentary cocktails while gambling on video poker while also gambling on sports. When I visited, Caesar's Palace was dealing $50 3-2 blackjack, $25 6-5 blackjack, craps and roulette, and $25 3-card poker and Ultimate Texas Hold'em. My experience at Nobu was great. The exclusive nature of the hotel is cool, the complimentary coffee and cocktails in the lobby is a nice touch, and I was satisfied with the room, especially considering it was a free upgrade. Pricing for Nobu rooms tends to be a little bit all over the map. There are times where you can snag one for just a few bucks more than the cheapest options in Caesar's Julius or Colosseum Towers, and in those situations I'd book it again in a heartbeat. It's a great little room. Emphasis on the little. That said, Nobu can be significantly more expensive than other room types at Caesar's Palace that offer more space, and sometimes a lot more space without a significant drop-off in quality. In those cases, I don't feel Nobu is worth the premium it commands. It's just not a big enough upgrade. Unless, of course, you need a yoga mat.